welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. And if you're new here, my name is Ash and I talk about lesbian culture, movies, TV shows, anything in general, but I mostly talk about the L word and the L word generation Q. And as of tomorrow, we are officially 1 month away from the premiere of season 2. We can see the episode 2 days early, which is awesome. So it's really, really close, less than a month until that magical August 6th date when we get the episode on streaming, and then August 8th is when the show is aired on actual Showtime. So really looking forward to it, cannot wait. And we have had our hands full. We've had posters popping up in Brooklyn and we've had trailers getting close to 3 million views. So the L word generation Q is absolutely killing it at the moment. And that's why after the teasers, we've had 3 teasers altogether and 1 full-length trailer. So make sure that you're all caught up on those because they're all different and they all have different little scenes and things. So if you haven't seen all of them, I'll link them in the cards above and also in the description box below. So make sure that you're caught up on all of those. And I also do a lot of videos. There are deep dives into them, reactions, and go through kind of little things that maybe you wouldn't see or what does this mean. So make sure you check out my season 2 teaser and trailer playlist. All the teasers are there and all the videos. So that's a good place to get caught up. So today we are going to do our season 2 theories, and I've organized them top 10 style so it's easy to follow. And I have done a lot of predictions and thoughts in my other videos, and although most of those still stand, this is the one that's like after the trailers, after the teasers, after everything I've learned from behind the scenes, things cast have told me, things crew have told me, things Showtime have told me, like absolutely everything. These are the top 10 theories of what I think is going to happen. So I definitely want you guys to let me know your theories down in the comment section, and then we'll be able to mark off at the end of the season if we were right or horribly wrong about every single thing. So before we get started, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. I know that every YouTuber says this, but for some reason there is a huge amount of people who watch these videos and do not subscribe, and it really helps the channel out when you do subscribe because it just helps with getting analytics and getting other viewers onto the channel. The more subscribers, the better it is for the channel. So I really, really appreciate if you could subscribe before we start with season 2 so I can start getting some new people on the channel too. And also don't forget to follow me on social media. I release a lot of information over there. And also to like the video if you think any of these theories are going to happen, and also share the video if you enjoy it. So as I said, I've organized this top 10 style just to keep it organized. And number 1, I mean, it has to be the huge cliffhanger. What is going to happen with Danny, Finley, and Sophie? And I have gone back and forth pretty much the entire hiatus saying, oh, I think it's Danny, oh, I think it's Finley. And then I did go through this long period where I was like, it's no one. So if somebody absolutely said to me, you need to make a decision, I would say it is either no one, or if I have to choose someone, I think it's going to be Danny. And my reason for this is I think that all those behind the scenes pictures that we were seeing was a main character's wedding. And we know that Micah is a groomsman or best man in the wedding because we saw Leo Shang and Leo Shang's stand-in were in that position in the pictures that we saw. And if you want any more information than that, it's linked in the cards above and the description box. So check those out. It's all my behind the scenes videos. And also, we know that it's not Finley getting married, or doesn't seem to be, because we see Finley in the snap at the wedding where, I mean, it looks like a wedding. I think that Danny and Sophie will have a wedding, but I don't necessarily think there's going to be a marriage. And maybe Danny finds out about Finley, maybe Finley confesses to Sophie. And also Jacqueline Tobani has described this season as sad. So it just, I don't know, Finley is looking a little bit mopey in a lot of the trailers too. So if Sophie does choose Danny, and then it's a couple of episodes of, will Danny find out? Will Finley say something? So that's just my personal thought. I think off the bat, she'll choose Danny. And then I think it will be maybe like not a regret, but she'll still have those feelings for Finley. So number 2 is one of my favorite subjects, and that is Jabet, Gigi and Bet. And when the first teaser came out, we were all flipping out about Gigi and Bet, and the way they cut the first teaser, you thought it wasn't necessarily, like, they wanted you to think it was Gigi and Bet, but the way they cut that in, it looked like she was with Pippa. So we did get absolute confirmation that they at least, you know, have a kiss in the trailer. So my thoughts with Gigi and Bet is, well, one, like, just thank you to, putting that together for us, a real so I think that it will be like a short-lived, super hot, awesome thing that will just burn down around them in 2 weeks. I think that Gigi will slowly be introduced into like Alice, Shane, Bet, like their friendship. And I mean, personally, as I've been doing my Generation Q reviews, and I have been pointing out all these little Jabet moments that maybe other people didn't see. They're really small, like just really prolonged eye contact, or Bet just having to be like, hi Gigi, and not hi to anyone else. So if you haven't seen those, definitely go and watch my Gen Q reviews for episode 4 and 5, and I talk about the Jabet moments in that. But I just think that the reason they're bringing this Pippa Pascal in is then to have a relationship with Bet, and I think that Gigi and Bet will be in the first few episodes, and then they'll be friends, kind of in the same way that like Alice and Bet, you know, we're together for a really short period of time and then we're friends. And then later on in the season, I think it's going to be Bet and Pippa. So that's just what I'm thinking, and I will talk about Tina and Carrie further down the list. So the other members of the throuple, Alice and Nat, I am just not thinking that they are going to make it through the end of the season. I really, really like Alice, and I think her and Nat are pretty funny together, but I just, some of the things that you hear Alice saying in the trailer, and then we know Alice is writing this book. I personally think it's like a tell-all book of her rise to fame, and I think that they're going to use this book as like filling in some information for us between what happens between the original show and Generation Q, and then also to have like those touchstone moments between the original L Word and now. So I think that they'll use things like the way they had Dana's and like the little slideshow, like those little homages to the original show. I think that they'll use Alice's book that way, and I just really don't see Nat and Alice surviving the season together. And maybe with Gigi then coming into their friendship group, it'll like shift gears a little bit. And I mean, even a silly little thing like Sefida Murphy is a series regular and is arguably like the most well-received character of Generation Q. Danny and Gigi are generally the two people that most people, like anytime I put a poll up or something, Danny and Gigi always win those polls of like favorite Gen Q character. So I think that Stephanie Allen always remaining a guest star, like that means something maybe too. I mean, there could be nothing to it, and she just doesn't want to be on that side of things, the same way like Laurel doesn't want to commit to all the other stuff because she's got other things, other projects going on and stuff. So it could just be that. But yeah, I don't think Alice and Nat are going to survive the season. So the poker thing that we see in the trailer. Now, if you guys want to hear a lot of extensive stuff about the poker, then check out my live from last week. Sorry, I'm like linking a lot of videos in this, but I don't want to repeat myself too much for like my really loyal people that watch everything. So the poker thing that we are shown in the trailer, as I've spoken about before, I used to work in the poker and gaming industry for a really long time. I worked for PokerStars, and then after a long time at that company, I designed and did like the math and the psychology side of slot machines and like online slot machines. And when I worked for PokerStars, it was a lot to do with fraud and game integrity and things like that. And I've also used to run like a lot of the charity things and events and stuff like that. So a lot of people have said that they think that this, you know, Shane having all the money in the poker chips, like it's some charity thing. And while, yes, this could be the case, there's something else going on too, because just if they're trying to be really like truthful to what would happen, which most of these shows, they do look into stuff, like you just wouldn't have all that cash and all those chips and they wouldn't be anywhere near each other, because there is really, really strict guidelines around like charity and gambling and things like that. Like it just doesn't happen. And also the way that Bet and Gigi, Alice and Shane, when they're playing poker, it's like dark, they have loads of chips, no one else is around, like the bar doesn't look like anyone else is in it. Like what are they doing? Are they having like a run through with Gigi and Bet, because with Shane and Alice having learned poker from Papi? So yeah, I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, but I think that there's something like more shady going on. And I'm sure most people think like, oh, they're all like very, you know, people that keep their nose clean, they're not like really like sketchy or anything. So it could be like an honest mistake, like they run some charity thing and then they just haven't done like the research and get in trouble for that. But there's something else to it, like all that cash, it's just too strange. And yeah, the FBI and stuff like that as well, like the FBI being involved is exactly what would happen if there was anything like this, because the FBI is who seized PokerStars website. So if you want to know any more about Black Friday, I've been saying to a few people that I maybe would do a video where I talked about the site being seized by the FBI and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just what would happen if anything with gambling was going on. So I really think there's more to this poker thing. It could be an innocent mistake, it could be something else, but they could be running some sort of like high stakes lesbian, you know, poker game. I mentioned this in another video, like with Molly Bloom, who, if you haven't seen that movie or book, check it out. So what is going on with Angie this season? Now, we know Jordan Hull is a series regular now, so she'll have more of a storyline. And we also know that Tina and Carrie are moving to California and are going to be more involved with Angie now. They're living in LA. So we see this scene in the trailer, and then we later got picture confirmation of it, like Bet's crying and like reaches out for someone's hand, and then through this picture we know it's Tina. And Carrie's sitting in this office too. People have been going back and forth about what it is. I mean, it looks like a school office, or it could be a hospital, but I think it's a school. And we also know, like, I think it was way back at Christmas time, I released the info that Kayla Allenwood was going to be on the show for a few episodes. And we know Allenwood is the surname of Angie's biological donor. So we know that there's going to be some sort of interaction with them. And a lot of people speculating that there's maybe something wrong with Angie, or she needs some sort of, it could even be something like simple, like she's got a rare blood type, and she needs a donation or something. But a lot of people speculating about that. I hope that they don't go too dark with that. But with Kit and then with Dana and the original and all of that, I don't think that they're gonna go down the side of, like, I know a lot of people were saying about Marcus Allenwood, something happening with him, but I just don't imagine or see that if something happened to him, like, why Angie's biological half sibling would end up like with Bet or Angie or Tina or someone. So I think that what's much more likely is it's something probably to do with the sister, and then they maybe reach out to Angie, as I just don't think that they would go with the character that way. Like, I think maybe there'd be something wrong with Kayla, and then they've asked Angie, you know, for blood donation or bone marrow or something. Or it could be something completely innocent, like she does one of those ancestry DNA things, and they, you know, sometimes they're like, oh, hey, you have, you know, someone who's in your family here and blah, blah, blah. And then, or they happen to go to the same school, or a huge coincidence or something. But there's definitely something going down there with all of that. Number 6, Tina and Carrie. And, you know, we know that they're living in LA now, and Carrie is played by Rosie O'Donnell, which again I announced like way back at Christmas time, and I know she's in 3 episodes. So my personal opinion is that we'll see them together obviously throughout the entire season, and I think Carrie by the end of the season will realize like her and Tina don't match up, because Rosie has said it is going to be difficult for her character, like being around Bet and like LA and like all Tina's friends that are very different from her. So I personally think by the end of the season they will split, and then we'll be left with some kind of, you know, cliffhanger for Bet and Tina, as I don't see them getting together this season. That's just my honest opinion. And I think it's much more likely that we have this, like, you know, Carrie thing this season as well, because I can't imagine Rosie would come back for another season. So it just, you know, all depends what goes down. But I personally don't see Carrie and Tina getting married. I know some people are worried about that too. I just don't see them doing that with both being guest stars. And yeah, I don't see them making it out of the season together either. So we shall see. Number 7, Shane and Tess. This is kind of just like a wholesome-y thing, as I think they're going to develop this really great relationship, and I think that they're gonna push Dana's into, you know, like a bigger thing. Maybe they'll even like branch out and expand Dana's to somewhere else, so that would be cool. But I think that it's just going to be a lot of nice, you know, genuine content with Shane and Tess. And some people speculating that they think that they might hook up, but I can't imagine that happening, because I think that Shane realized through the Lena thing, like, okay, let's not like mess this bar up with like me sleeping with people. So hopefully Shane has learned her lesson there and sticks to her guns. Number 8 is about Micah and Jose, and I think that Jose's marriage is going to be some relation to like a green card or some sort of immigration thing. And I think that Sophie's sister, Maribel, is going to be somehow integrated to this, as she did say I just did the review for episode 5, and she says it in this one, that she is like an immigration attorney. So that might be another way to bring Maribel in, because she's in quite a lot of episodes for season 2 as well. Number 9 is about our guest stars and special guest stars, and I did release a video and was the first person to talk about this too. Was Helena is going to be in the season, and we're not sure how many episodes, but it seems to be, you know, around the middle of the season. I will be really excited to see Helena. I really like her character, apart from season 2 of the original. And I also think we might get one more OG in the show. I would love to see Holland Taylor playing Peggy Peabody. That would be awesome. The only thing that makes me think no is she was quite busy recently. Like, she's had a lot of stuff come out, and also with the panorama and things. So hopefully that happens, if not this season, next season. And then I also think we're gonna still, even though it has been difficult, still get some good special guest stars. And I'm really banking on Samira Wiley. For some reason, I think that she's going to be in this season, but that is just kind of a little bit of guesswork and a little bit of digging. So those are my picks for definite people that we will also see this season. And number 10 is to do with Danny's dad, and I guess the FBI thing too. Maybe it's not to do with the poker, and maybe it's to do with Danny's dad. We do know that Danny's dad is going to be in court somehow. So I think that towards the end of the season, we may see him in some trouble. And if something happened with him, like, even if he went to jail, obviously, but if also sometimes when you get in trouble like this is what happened with Elizabeth Holmes, who had that company Theranos, where she was like lying to everyone, that when you're punished, you're told you can't be a director of a public company for like 10 years. So say he's told he can't be a director of a company for like 5 years or something, then maybe Danny has to take over the company because her dad can, or, you know, he's in jail or something has happened. So I think that Danny could be, you know, thrust into the company again, and in like this quite powerful role where we know, you know, Danny's dad and his company seems to have very far-reaching arms and a lot of money and power behind it. So I feel like there's going to be something going on there too. And that is pretty much it for all of my predictions, thoughts, you know, little ideas for the season. And if you guys agree, disagree, have some new ones, definitely let me know down in the comment section. And if you agreed with any of these theories, make sure to give the video a like, as it really, really helps the channel out. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn the little bell notification on, as there's going to be a lot more content coming out soon, and who knows, maybe some special people on the channel. So you don't want to miss out on that. And also don't forget to follow me on all of the social media platforms, as I release a lot of info there too. And don't forget to share the video. And also don't forget to pop by my merch store if you want to grab yourself some L-word treats to wear, drink out of, whatever, for season 2, as that is a great way to get some cool stuff for yourself and to support the channel. So thank you to anyone who visits my merch store. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.